Ivan Katz here today at Bluemont, and today I'm throwing the Innova Beast, and I'm gonna throw it and tell you why I think everyone should have it. So let's talk about the numbers first. 10, 6, 2, and -2. The 10 is the speed at which you need to throw this disc to get the most out of it. Now, disc numbers go as high as like 14 or 15 right now. This is a 10. So it's pretty quick, but it's sort of midway quick. It's like a fairway driver, control driver they call it. So it tends to be able to be thrown with more control for people with less power. Mid-ranges are say 5, 6, 7, 8s, and when you get into the 9s and 10s like this, well, then this should be able to give you some distance and fairly easily. Maybe if you're a true beginner, it might be a little tougher for you to throw this, but beginners with a decent amount of power should be able to throw this even with a little bit of angle, hyzer, and it'll straighten out for you. So it's easy to control and easy to get to go straight. Now the next number, the 5, is about the glide. That's how much it'll glide in the air. So 5 means it has very good glide. That means the wind can carry it, get you some extra distance. That's good. The -2 is the turn. Now when I'm throwing it like I do forehand flick, discs tend to straighten out and then turn back to the right. But if you have a negative number, it's going to turn the opposite way to the left. And that's how these are stable to understable. These two discs are understable. This one being more flippy, this one being less flippy for me. But that's the tendency. That -2 is the turn. And then the 2 for the fade at the end, well, that's just the way the disc, if you flick it like this, will curve off to the right at the end. Just a little bit of a fade, very predictable and controllable. So at 10, 5, -2, and 2, the Beast is definitely your friend. You should definitely have it in your bag. Now let me show you why. Number 2 here at Bluemont, 168 feet and uphill, so it can be tough. And you've got a lot of trees to get around there, right where you want to be. So let's see if we can get on through there. Okay, so as expected, this a little bit less understable than the other white disc. Ended up about 15 feet from the basket and probably about 20 feet. But on the other side is the other more flippy, understable Beast. So it's making sense that it ended up over there while this one ended up over here because it's less flippy. Let me put them in. Okay, wrapping up number 2 here at Bluemont, and you can see I threw both of the Beasts, and this one more flippy. So it actually, I had to give it a heck of a lot of hyzer so that it would go ahead and curve off to the right at the end, which it did, but it did go ahead and make its -2 turn and went around that tree on the left. Now this one did sort of a different path. I gave it also a lot of hyzer because I wanted it to curve right, but it curved much farther right, ended up to the right of the basket and went in front of those trees really, and that was okay. So that was 2 different ways to use this carving tool, the Beast, and its understability. It's supposed to be stable again, but these are very broken in discs, and they're DX plastic, the cheapest plastic, which means it's great because they're inexpensive, but they tend to get beaten up, and they do tend to get more and more, I think, understable as you throw with them, and that's a good thing until sometimes you'll have to retire them. Sometimes they just start to act weird, but these are still controllable, and that's what I did here to get close enough for the birdie putts. Now, with the putting, you'll notice that my first putt over there with the orange disc was, I think, a bit low. It came into the basket pretty low. Make sure you're giving it enough when you're putting uphill and aim for at least here, but I find sometimes when I'm putting uphill, I like to aim as high as here or here because I tend to underthrow uphill. Make sure you give it the spin and the power when you're putting, especially uphill, and if you're missing too low, then you're not throwing hard enough. Too high is okay, and off this way, as long as you're about this height with your misses even, you're giving it a good effort, a good run, so that's a good thing. So keep at it with your putting, and it just gets easier and easier over time, and everybody has good days and everybody has bad days with putting. So don't get frustrated, just keep practicing. And another tip, before you play around, practice putting. Definitely. You should practice your drives too, but definitely practice your putting. Number 7 here is 211 feet straight through the fairway, and as you can tell, there's a lot of trees to avoid, so let's see if we can get there. Parked. Should be close. So good results here with the Beast. Pretty darn close to the basket, maybe 10 feet from that one. And the White Beast here, just about 5 feet. So excellent results. Let's put them in, and then I'll talk about the throws. So there you go, great drives with both Beasts. Now, this one is much more flippy. So I threw it with more hyzer, and that's because I knew it would turn over and then do the S-curve back. And this one, I can get away with much less hyzer when I throw it. So maybe a little more towards flat, and it still turns over and follows that same path. So the Beast can be thrown straight just like that, and very successfully, as you see. And as usual for my putters, I used my 86 by Whammo Frisbee and the Vibram Summit putt approach. Number 8 is 268 feet, but you've got kind of these trees that they left for difficulty right here. So for the Beast, which tends to flip over that way, it can be difficult to get to the basket safely. So let's see what we can do. Okay, really good result here. I worked with the flippy, stable to understable tendency of the Beast, and certainly understable for my broken in Beast's tendencies, and ended up here just really maybe, I don't know, 3 feet away. Just pick it up and put it on in there, and then the other Beast, the more flippy Beast, right in the basket for 2 easy birdies. Okay, so again, I used each of the discs' tendencies for flippiness in different ways. This one, again, less hyzer needed to make it turn over and go where I wanted it. More hyzer on this one, and there you go. On these 3 different disc golf shots, the Beast did very good, each one. I know that this one is 175 grams, and I believe this one's about the same, maybe 173. So definitely, again, more flippy than this one, but still, the Beast is really very easy to throw. You might need a little bit of experience being a speed 10. Maybe you start off with a mid-range like the Cobra. Check out my video of that one. But the Beast, I think everyone should have one in their bag, because oftentimes when you're throwing these overstable discs, you really need to put maybe even some anhyzer on them to get them to go straight when you're just starting out, before you have the power to really make them turn over and keep the distance before fading back. And with the Beast, as a stable to understable control fairway driver, again, a control driver or a fairway driver is something that's designed to go maybe not as far, but as a distance driver, but it has more control and it should be easier to throw and easier to get to go straight for you. So the Beast, I think, is a great example of that sort of disc, and I really think everybody should have it in their bag. Check out all of my other disc reviews on discs like the Destroyer, the Hex Rakuten, the Crank SS, the Wraith, and also, of course, check out all my other disc golf videos. If you like car videos, check out my Drivin Ivan car reviews. Don't forget to subscribe to me on YouTube, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and also on my Facebook page. I'm Ivan Katz.